All right, guys. Welcome back to the show. Today, I want to talk about the why. So, I think this is a good subject. Misty and I, we talk about this a lot, and I've never really, I've shared this before. Our why of what we do, and not just share our why, but also share why, why it's important to have a why, as well, right? So, I'm going to start with our Misty and I and why we do what we do, and we actually, why do we do the podcast? Why do we do real estate? Why do we do the things that we do? And I'm sure someone's going to listen to this and they're going to, kind of get more of a, man, maybe that makes sense because if you don't have a why in front of you, why you're doing what you're doing, usually you don't continue it, right?
Yeah.
You stop. So let's start at the top. So, why are we doing, Misty, in your words, why did we invest in real estate? Why did we, run a business? Why did we, what's your why? What's your,
Well, I don't think you could ever work for anybody.
yeah, that's true.
So that's why. No, but um, I think real estate's just one of our passions. And there's so many different uh, sectors of real estate.
Hmm.
It's very broad. And so I think it kind of puts on our investigative skills, or it just gives us a thrill of all the different ways you can grow in real estate or do real estate. And so it's exciting to me.
Yeah. So that's what makes you get up in the morning? I don't mean that that way. Is that what makes you get up? You're like something exciting and new on a
Yes,
different daily?
it's always different.
No.
Different things that finding a deal, or putting out a fire, or something. It's your day is not repetitive every single day
Yeah.
of the same thing over and over and over again.
Putting out a fire does not make me get up in the morning. I get up, but that's not my why. So no, and everybody has a different why. So I wanted to kind of delve in because I think this goes back with I think it comes with one thing. It's my why was buying back time. That was
Yeah.
why. Why did we do what we did? And I actually still struggle to talk about it some because I kind of if you know our story of going through and owning a martial arts academy, and then I spent a lot of time teaching other people's kids. I spent so much time, and of course throughout that time we were slowly building real estate. But why were we even bothering with it, right? Because we knew that one day why we were doing it was that we wanted to eventually be able to stop what we were doing,
Tire.
retire, and say, that's why that's why we talk about real estate for retirement, because that's eventually what it's not retire like I quit, but go, I have the opportunity to do what I want. It almost could be real estate for buying your time back. But it just doesn't sound as smooth, but it's what it is. So it's the why. And so, I spend a lot of time teaching other people's kids. Misty and I talk about this a lot where, I missed, what was it, from the years of, what do you say, 5 years old, all the way up to 5 or 6 years old, at least for Jake,
At least six.
at least
Six or
six. So
seven.
like 0 to 6, I missed a lot of that time. I wasn't there for a lot of stuff because I'm teaching other people's kids. I'm going through, and I struggle to talk about it. I choke up, when I think about it, because I'm like, man, that was part of me has that like, oh, it was wasted time. Other part of me goes, well, it wasn't wasted. It was just a purpose. There was a purpose to it, and
Hmm.
it hit and it made sense and it did what it needed to do. But essentially, the what kept me being willing to miss some of that time was that one day I could turn around and buy it all back, and that's what we essentially did, was buy it back. So
But when those Facebook posts pull up 8 years ago.
oh, that shit, that's so hard to watch, man. Still, it's so hard to watch because I'm like, I don't really. Some of that stuff comes out, I don't remember it. Now it's not that, but the reason I really wanted to talk about this is because that why is what drove me to want to do what we do, and I to tie that into how does that relate to real estate? This is a mindset, right? This is what it comes down to. It's a mindset that if you're going to get up every day and do some shit that's hard, you've got to be able to have a better reason than I just want to make money, because that goes away. What happens when the fire goes out, right? I mean,
Hmm.
what makes you go, what makes Misty wake up and go, beyond the whole every day's different? What makes you get up and say, I'm willing to go and bust my ass to put these fires out? What makes you do that? What makes you say, I'm going to do that?
Taking pride in what you do and that you can resolve other people's problems.
But go further.
But
Why are you willing to do it?
Because it gives me freedom.
That's the one. That's the one. Because it gives you freedom.
Mhm.
Even though you know it's maybe some bullshit and it's hard to deal with, right? It gives you,
It takes up a little bit of time and, energy and stuff, but I mean, it also allows freedom.
but you know in the beginning, even though you're doing it, you're not looking at the task at hand where you're like, oh, this is really hard.
The
You,
big picture.
you look at the big picture. And I think that's where a lot of people make mistakes where they are investing or, we talked about this with our agents, where they, they just get started in the business and they're like, well, I'm having they're struggling. When you start a business, you struggle. That's just
Mhm.
what it is. I mean, literally, you're on the struggle bus, struggle boat, whatever you want to call it. It's just one big boatload of struggle all day long. You're trying to claw at something to make something happen, to make it work, so you can make some money and try to and eventually get past that struggle. But if you don't have a why in the middle of that struggle, why are you doing it? You're never going to make it through. You know, I think that
It's
was
not gonna be worth the struggle.
it won't be worth the struggle, right? I can tell you, anytime I've ever stepped up to something and I was like, I just want to make a boatload of money, it never worked out.
Yeah.
You've watched that, and I'm sure for you, it's the same thing, right? Because after a while, you're like, man, screw all this, man. This sucks. Why am I doing this? But if your why is stronger than that, the why are you doing it? It's so much easier to stick around. And I think that's kind of what the message is for, the different for the agents or for anyone who's getting investing or, you're getting your license, whatever it is. I mean, that doesn't have to be just real estate. That can be all sorts of different, different things. And so, you know, for us, martial arts was a means to an end, I would say. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
It wasn't the end all. It will be end all for me. I'll forever be on the mat. Just know that. So if you're watching that, but but it wasn't the end all. We weren't going to be there forever. We were actually planning out more, and so we were willing to put in the work and the effort and the energy.
To get us to there.
Yeah, I mean, put it like that. Who's going to invest in properties and never take anything out of it, right? Why, you got to be crazy to do that, right? You're like, why would I not? But no, everyone we've talked to on this podcast, any of our friends that have done anything, it's always their why is bigger. They're willing to forego those, comforts and all the other stuff or whatever because they want that end result. And I know for me, it was, I think, if you had to say, well, what was your why? For me, it was leaving something behind that was bigger that I want others to look and go, man, that was really hard to do, um, where it was too difficult. And others may go, I won't do that. And to me, that's strong enough to make to want to do things that I, otherwise don't like doing. Because there are things which I'm sure Misty, you would agree. There's things that you do that you're like, I just don't want to do that. Putting out fires.
Yeah. Well, no.
No.
Depends who it
She's
is
like,
and what it
she's like being on a podcast.
is. Yes, you definitely put me in my not comfort
Yeah,
zone.
she's comfortable now. Don't worry. She gets more compliments than I do. So I don't look as good, but no, but you're there's things you don't want to do, but the why drives you to want to do it. Why we do the
That's where the
podcast.
money is.
That's where the money is, right? That's it. And I think you have to have that strength in the why. You have to have that willingness to. I mean, just every morning you gotta remind yourself, why in the hell am I doing this? And if you aren't reminding yourself that, it's like going through exercise. It's the same thing. Why do I run? Well, I run because I don't want to be in the middle of rounds and fall out, and I want to be able to be in shape and compete and things like that. And that shit sucks. Why do I eat at a calorie deficit so I can make featherweight? There's so many little things in there, and those are just, but I relate that to business. And I think back because we were asked this question, right? We actually asked this question yesterday of, how do you get through? What do you do? And I want to be an expert and this and that. But I started really thinking about it. I was like, I don't really like, I remember being 19 and 20, but I don't remember going through the questioning phase of why am I doing this? I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, I never was like, why am I doing this? I knew why I was doing it. I wanted to be a millionaire. That was one of my biggest goals, right? It had nothing, and it wasn't money. It wasn't like I want to be a millionaire so I can make a lot of money. It was really I want to be a millionaire so I can use the chip on my shoulder to be like fuck you to everybody who otherwise, like that was a big why, right? And of course, once you get there, you're like, well, this is kind of empty. There's got to be something else to it. So like, let me help others, right? So it wasn't because I wanted to drive around a Lamborghini or do those kind of things. It was really, my why was just I wanted to do something that was difficult that most people never thought of, right? And I'm sure people we talk to in here all the time, it's the same thing. Well, why are we doing this? You've talked to these different individuals. It's all the same stuff. They wanted to do something that was hard, and so I think that has a lot to do with it, and that just going through there and you know remembering the why will get you through all of it. What do you think?
Yeah, and you gotta be comfortable with struggle.
Yeah, every day,
Mhm.
every single day. She's smiling. It's just like I know. Every day you gotta be comfortable, right? You put
Yep.
yourself in something that's difficult, and then. But I think that why in the hell am I doing this? And people write a book on the why, but what about just why the hell? Why the hell am I doing this? Why am I doing it? Is what it comes down to. And if you stick to that, you won't want to quit. Quit doesn't even become an option. You know,
Yeah.
if you right, I mean, if you think about that, it doesn't become an option. You're not thinking about it. You're thinking about, well, I just I want to get this.
And unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people actually have a why.
Mm-mm. No, most people don't. Right? They see something. They're like, that looks fun. You know,
Maybe one day.
maybe one day. So were you a person with why or no?
I did not have a
You
why.
did not have a why. What's the difference between having a why and not having a why?
uh,
Go through
well,
that.
yeah,
We
you're
learned
just
that.
kind of like a zombie life without a why. It's just going through life with no purpose. Yeah.
So that was you before we met. So explain that. So
Yeah.
you were just kind of like, you never thought about it,
Yeah, just living life. That
and
that's what life was.
and then we
Just be
met.
there.
Just be there. That's what you don't do, people. So when did it change for you?
Um, couple of years into marriage, I guess.
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
did it change?
I saw a purpose and our goals and
Hmm.
just everything put together and that you know, it's kind of like getting the shot. You kind of got woke up.
I think you have to explain that. Misty
And
calls that the shot.
what show was that? Widow? Black Widow? Black Widow?
That's what your that's your that's your woke up shot. The woke. So you
Yeah, so got the shot and realized that you don't have to be like everybody else
mhm.
and just go through life and let life happen to you. You can choose what you want to do. You don't have to go work for somebody, in order to make a living. And you get to kind of like when you were a kid, like, what do I want to be when I grow up? A lot of that disappears. It's not really focused on anymore when you're a kid and stuff. So unfortunately, a lot of the youth, the younger kids, the teens now, a lot of them are just living at home, don't really have any certain goals or what they
Yeah.
want to be, and it's pretty sad.
Yeah.
so yeah, it's just kind of getting that back and being like, you actually can do whatever you want, you know,
Hmm.
and having that freedom to choose what you want, to work at whatever you want, to work when you want, and be your own boss, and be home for your kids, but not only be a stay-at-home mom. You can still work or do whatever you aspire to do and still be there for your family. And
Yeah.
so you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. When we met, Misty wanted me to let her stay home. Now she's like, I'm not staying home. But no, you're right. It eventually changed for you at some point and it became stronger. So you don't, I never hear you complain and be like, why are we doing this? Like you know why we do it. And that's what pushes you through no matter how, screwed up the day is, whatever screws up or messes up or whatever goes on. You don't ever think about that, right? Like quitting doesn't come to your mind.
No, it's just life.
It's just life. You're like, this
Yeah.
is the situation. I got to solve it. And it's just because you are focused on the long term why. And whether you had money or didn't have money, or you had a good day or didn't have a good day, the quitting doesn't happen because in your mind, you're thinking about, I'm doing this because of that out there. And what that usually is is intangible. It's not a money.
Mhm.
It's not a car. You know, I can tell you, we bought that bus. We bought that bus, and it sits there. It's a 1969 Volkswagen. It's a beautiful bus. It's just
Mhm.
it's a trophy
Show
queen,
show car.
and I don't even know how to drive the damn thing, and I don't feel any better for having it. I just, but that's
Mhm.
not. I don't get up for a bus every morning. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even drive it. I just look at it when I get in my other car. And I'm like, that's a pretty bus, So I'm like, so the
Mhm.
point is like those things don't make the difference. What matters is the intangible items you can't purchase, and that the time and the
Experiences.
experiences and things like that. And those whys, those are the things I think are strong enough. So I wanted to share that. I think that's something that's important. I think if the agents hear this, any agent that's out there, anyone starting their own business, anyone's investing in real estate, you've got to have the right mindset. And if you don't have the right mindset of why am I doing this, and if it's and it needs to be powerful enough, your reason for getting up in the morning needs to be powerful enough that the last thing you think about is quitting. No matter how hard it gets, you don't think about that. And I can give you numerous stories about why I do certain things, and it has nothing to do with intangible or tangible. Has nothing to do with tangible items that you can hold and look and feel and touch. It's all out that you can't. It's stuff that you can't touch. It's stuff that only you could accomplish if you just don't quit. So, so anyhow, I wanted to share that, guys. You need to have a strong why. Do not just wake up in the morning and be like, I'm just doing this to make some money. Like, you're going to be disappointed. Do it because you want to, you want to create something more for yourself. And for us, it's leave a legacy, right?
Yeah.
Leave something for these kids.
I remember wasting years of my life working for somebody that I hated.
Yeah. You still
And
hate them too.
every day it was wake up and be miserable
Yeah.
because you
Abs-
had to go put in 10 to 12 hours at this job that you hated.
The
And
man.
not necessarily that I hated the job, I just hated the person that was there and made my life hell.
Yeah. You were good at the job. But why? So why you do get up in the morning is so you never go back to that shit. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
If I have a problem with my manager now, it's myself.
I like to break it to you guys. It's not. She comes to me and she bitches at me, and then she fires me, and then she rehires me. So no, yeah, yeah. But no, it is. And then for us, leave a legacy for the kids, something behind.
Mhm.
So that's it. So have a strong why, guys. If you don't have a strong why, you're gonna quit. No matter what you do, what you start, what you are trying to build, you're quit if your why is not strong enough. So, all right, catch you guys next time.